What's going on, YouTube? Earth Power here, CVH.
How's it going, everybody?
We're back for more top 8 shenanigans. Darkfire Nature, Mykee's Pliers up against Lightwater Dark, Hydro Hurricane. Can the dark horse of the play-in bracket topple what might be considered just one of the best decks in general in Masters as it stands?
Yep. Lightwater Dark Hydro Hurricane is actually the deck that I brought for IDC 34, which you haven't seen any of yet, but we're like a few matches in depending on when this goes up. So look forward to that.
So stay tuned in a month when we upload those.
Yeah.
Or when CVH may or may not edit those and upload those.
I didn't say editing,
point,
I said upload, but yeah, you'll get what you get and you will like it.
Who knows? 4 or 5 matches from my IDC run of 33 might end up coming up here in the next week or two. So stay tuned. It was a weird one. So
should we pop on in? Mykey's Pliers already beat Waterfire Rush. Let's see if it can take down another relatively high-ranked deck. What do you say?
Do it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll preface this match by apologizing.
Oh boy,
it's always a good place to start, right?
Yep.
And that the glare continues to be awful. So stay tuned, stick with us. That's partly why we're here, is just to let everyone know what cards are actually on the table. The kitchen glare, and CVH and I really should have actually watched one of these back before recording everything back to back to back.
But you know we're not going to do that. So
absolutely, it doesn't really get any better. So stay tuned, stick around. Hopefully, I didn't expect it to get this, but it's
oh my goodness! I'm drinking a Fresca in your kitchen while we play this match, and I'm drinking a Fresca right now, narrating this match months later.
I'm also very positive I'm wearing the same t-shirt and sweatpants in this match that I'm wearing right now.
We are who we are. That's incredible.
Love to see it.
You're literally wearing the same shirt. It's like you teleported from your loft to the kitchen, and I just like brought the Fresca down to Virginia. Oh my god,
that's great. It's consistency is really what we're here for, right? Yeah. You guys want to see us play these decks, stay on pace, and then everything, as long as it transitions as cleanly as possible. I think that's the less confusing the better, maybe more confusing depending on how.
Yeah, weirdly your mic is cutting out every now and then. Hopefully that doesn't keep going, because if the glare happens and we can't hear you, we're not going to know. And there's Belix, and as you can see, the cards are getting progressively harder to see already on my side specifically.
Yeah, it's weird too, because I think it's
my hand is
your
bad.
board. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm closer to the kitchen.
Yeah. The light is, I think, directly above you in this, and that was a foresight. We fixed that in Season 2, and yet somehow just immediately forgot. I say immediately, then recorded these matches maybe 2-3 months later, but here we are. Hardy Captain takes the shield and pops back to my hand. That's always fun to see, and you continue to not have a play, because I don't think you're going to do anything until Giga Balls the next turn.
Yeah, I revealed my hand of the camera, and it was looking quite hefty with like Glen Abuele and Mysterios and stuff. Meanwhile, you're just playing Fire Nature Rush that just has Cavern Raider and Searing Wave, which is pretty funny. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you put the Poisonous Mushroom down. You could have gone for a 2-for play that turn, but I think you're still trying to play the Mykey's Pliers game here.
And I think so. And with my hand being 3 cards, I think I'm regretting having to put the Cavern Raider down early, but obviously that's how the Hardy Captain came into play. And
I mean, really when you think about it,
like you could have 4 into 5 there. Yeah.
4 into 5 is nice, but if you had played the Shroom, you would be breaking all my shields this turn probably, and that's pretty tough. You know, Hydro Hurricane has a lot of things, but it doesn't have a lot of shield triggers, so I think my shields would be gone.
The thing is if I had played Mushroom, I didn't have another nature card to play down to then play the.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
that'll do it.
That's kind of the that's where we end up. So
you are playing a 3-save. Yeah.
Yeah. Hardy ends up being, foresight of 2 turns ahead. If my turn 4 is a Mykey's, which you didn't snipe out of my hand, thankfully, Hardy's pops back and basically provides mana for the Giga Claws that's in my hand, or ends up being 1 speed attacker plus another if I find another 3-drop. But you finally find your snare, which unfortunately has to hit Mykee now instead of Ganta. And we just end up playing the old 2-and-1 here. with Loco for 4, and then using the last mana for Hardy. And we're rolling a dice with the million cards that are in your hand.
It's Eureka
Sniper.
Charger. No time for that.
Yep. And with 6 mana, yeah, unfortunately, Hydro early when it's behind the 8 ball this far doesn't really have answers for wide boards. Um,
At least I get to play a
Terrapins,
Hydro Hurricane.
yeah, Hydro gets to bounce a thing, which is cute. Terrapit would have been able to destroy one thing. Double Miraculous Snare could have been interesting, but not enough there. It's Hydro finds itself in a tough spot when it's behind that far. So,
Yeah, so we find
and
ourselves like 4 minutes into this match, and Mykee's Pliers, after tearing through the play-in and tearing through Waterfire in the top 16 of this bracket, is now up a game against one of, I mean, some people consider it a top 5 deck. It's at least solidly B tier at the very least. It's up, this is a
yeah,
meta deck in Hydro Hurricane, and Mykey's Pliers is confidently up a game and one more win against it away from top 4, which would be
yeah. And the thing
nuts.
is like it's cool too because right, Mikey's Pliers, like the namesake of the deck, is the card that's really doing the majority of the damage. Right? It's one
Well,
of those things
Ganta broke like
where
4 shields, but sure.
right. Well, right. So in that specific game, right, Ganta was the MVP. The deck got to play like Nature Rush and play Ganta. But on turn 4, it did drop Mikey's Pliers and basically said, "Hey, this is going to win next turn." And you dealt with it and put me behind a turn. But at the end of the day, like the card is seeing play, which is something I like. It's not like certain. I guess I don't know what I would put into that category. I'm trying to think of like cards that we've messed around with in the past that have had to have alternate game plans because their main strategy is just a gimmick. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
gimmick of this deck is strong, I guess is
I
trying
think
to
I think
say
the
here.
cool thing is that like you can play cards like Giga Claws with Mikeys, and that is obviously a very strong curve. But Giga Claws is kind of the gimmicky part of that, and like the cards that benefit from Mikeys more often than not are just strong aggro cards anyway. Like dropping Gantas and Hardy Capins and stuff for like speed attackers that cost 1 and 2 is actually really, I think, what makes the card the strongest. So you get to play a really strong shell with some weird cards that can sometimes be very strong and sometimes not so strong. But the deck itself can play a lot of really strong cards. And when you play Mikeys, they get even stronger. So you are inclined to want to play the Mikeys, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. So looking, I can see in my hand right now, I've got a Searing Wave and a Cavern. I can see those cards being good. If your plays now, if you being on the play is having lots of blockers. Sorry, struggling to get these words out. But yeah, unfortunately, I think Syrian has to go down for Ganta, which is unfortunate depending on how you look at it. But um, yeah,
Imagine I have
Ganta,
Pela here. Yeah.
yeah. And
If I didn't
that's
have
just,
Pela, I'm pretty sure I would have blocked with Lyre Giga, but I'm trying to use the power buff here to deal with Ganta.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so basically let Hardy Captain get a free shield. Probably should have swung with Ganta there. Looking back, I think keeping to my,
Oh,
my thought
that's what you
process
say
was
in the we're
okay.
we're so
Okay, good.
consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to see it. Love to see it. So yeah, Ganta absolutely needs. If you have another and or insert any other, I think my deck gets too far behind, and with lack of ability to keep the hand big, Searing Wave stops being an out. Rebirth becomes a harder out, and also returns away. Just a lot of my deck basically becomes null and void for a couple of turns. And even then, I have to have answers for cards that are just completely off center for me.
I don't remember how many miraculous snares this version of Hydra is running. I know in the version that I'm playing in IDC, which is based on Claude's newer version, there's 3. The deck
I
is
think
slightly bigger too. I think
there's two. There's two in this one.
I don't know if it's a hot take at all, but I think at least 2 miraculous snares is kind of mandatory in Hydro Hurricane. You just have a hard time against the early and mid game threats if you don't play them. And they mana fix really well because you need more water cards in the deck usually, so you don't want to like play a full grip of Terra Pits and no snares. That's strong. I don't know. I guess I was debating
Yeah,
mana the entire time because
yeah.
that's just a
Well,
good turn.
Yeah, welcome to the glare. That's a Glen of Vale and his mana, Glen of Wele.
I don't
How
even
do
know
you
how to
pronounce
pronounce
that
it.
here? Yeah, and you move
I don't
it
think that
further
card's
into the
very
glare,
good.
making it even harder to see. So
Um,
it's
did I play Spiral
it's
Gate in
it's
mana?
sure did. Spiral Gate went down, Giga went down. I
What am I
think your thought
holding?
process well, I think your thought process here would be there's no creature that can get through this shield as it stands.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So
not too worried about Cavern Raider with this.
right. Well, you're not too worried about really anything I can do. Um, Double
Oh my
Pala
god.
is yeah, and after a Petrova, like Rebirth is no longer an answer. Searing Wave stopped being an answer turns ago. Um, Terra Pit is the only potential answer, but Double Petrova now just makes this board what's the word? Insurmountable, unsurmountable,
Insurmountable.
insurmountable. Yeah,
We
one
got
of
there.
those.
You should have just committed to one. Like a lot of our viewers like speak English as a second language, so they never would have caught you.
Yeah, but I don't want to lead them down the wrong path. Not that I don't already, but here here we are. Um,
Oh,
yeah, this
did I
board
play a
is
Hydro or no? I have 5 mana.
no, you
You
didn't.
logoed it.
I logoed it out of your hand because I didn't have any better to figure. If I'm gonna win this match, it's gonna be because you forget to coin with Mister. So strap in, guys. This is either where C takes 3 or 4 turns just to build a board that gets him to 100%, or actually starts swinging with Mistrios and double Petrova.
It
Because
would. It
again,
wouldn't be a bad
I don't,
swing.
I don't
I don't
think so.
think.
Yeah, it's just
I don't think
like I
it's
mentioned
great.
earlier, the only out is Terror Pit,
Well,
Rebirth,
like I don't
Searing
really
Wave,
want to invite
Retreat.
something like like Rebirth into Gallic to kill Mistrios and Pela, and then you have 2 blockers against 5
Gallic has
attackers.
Gallic has to get through unblocked. Plus, I have to activate Turbo Rush, so that's a lot that has to happen.
No, you're thinking
Uh,
Gatchak. I'm
uh,
thinking if you rebirth my Mistrios and play a Gallic, the one that destroys a blocker and discards a card.
yeah,
Yeah. Like that's a
yeah.
good 2-for-1, so I'm not trying to let you break a lot of shields.
That is
Um
a good 2-for-1, but again, that still puts me on a 2-turn clock.
yeah, I would still
Like
be alive. Well, it would be a 3-turn because you'd kill one of my attackers. But yeah.
right, but then I wouldn't be killing blockers, and
No, you could
I gotta
Mistrios. You could kill Mistrios and Pela. You wouldn't be threatening lethal, but I just wait another turn
yeah,
until I can
I mean,
Hydro, so you can't play Rebirth because it's the only remotely threatening card.
right. And once you Hydra there, which you just did,
Yeah.
which we didn't even the game's over. So Terror Pit was my only answer. I needed Terror Pit there. Sure, I have 3 attackers. Eureka Shack, not as great as everybody wants it to be. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's not a lot my deck can do here. Once you swing with the Misterios, there is no answer. So I am, as you would say, dead on board.
Yep. Double Petrova, double Pela. Wow, what a wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the double Pela there is something, and we've mentioned it a few times before in the past. Like this deck struggles in terms of power, right? Ganta is its main beater, if you will. It's the only thing in the deck that has more than 2,000 power on its own. So yeah, it's just anytime a blocker wall starts, that is the Mykee's Pliers deck's biggest weakness. And if it's Pala, all of a sudden Searing Wave, which is the answer to a bunch of chump blockers, becomes null and void. And then I'm just playing the 1-for-1 game. I need some very well timed Mykee's Pliers, like we saw in one of the play-in matches, and or some well-timed Terror Pits and Rebirths. And sometimes those cards are just a little too slow when Hydra Hurricane curves out like it just did.
Yeah, that was just a really strong hand overall, for sure.
3 for 3 on having Hardy Cat in turn 1.
That's
You love
part
to
of
see
my Earth
that.
Power bingo is having the 1-drop on turn 1, having like Surfer in the first shield, asking how many cards
You
are in my deck as soon as the board state is losing, see if you can mill me. Oh shit.
Yeah, so
Who has the
things
first
get
shield
bad
trigger
early.
now?
Yeah, it's you.
Just
Gigaball also
fire.
snipes a card out of my hand. I end up missing my fire mana, so Hardy Catton has to come back. You get a free turn now. You set up to what I would assume was play Belix if you needed to.
Look at that plague.
But yeah, so because you ended up putting Plague down first, and then you took it back and played the Mysterios down. So the reason I would think you might do that is because you would have had Belix and you wanted to stay on curve and not bounce back your own mana if you needed to. Um, But yeah,
Maybe.
no, things worked out. So I missed my 2-drop. The captain bounces back, and you were able to discard a card. So I am 1 card in hand with a pig and a Gashak on board. I end up not attacking with
The
pig.
pig.
Yeah. So
Well, I could always just like not like I guess maybe you're worried about like
yeah,
me playing a snare and then just attacking for free and
that or just
just
not
bad
playing
things.
anything and killing
Yeah,
pig
yeah.
because yeah, it's just either
Wow,
way.
that is not very good, but it would have been good if Pela wasn't there.
Yeah, Steering Wave deals
It's
with
actually
quite a
still fine.
bit,
Yeah, it's actually fine.
and I'm actually still able to deal with Mysterios, which is
Yeah,
cool.
what am I talking
So
about? That's a great steering wave. I
yeah,
don't know what
yeah,
Kachak does apparently,
yeah.
even though we're talking about it.
Yeah, so fortunate good top deck there in Syrian Wave. Snipes a shield, but basically sets me up. And my whole idea here is if you have an answer, you have an answer. I don't have a hand anyways. Like I just have to play the cards I have. So it's really just on you now. You know what does Hydra Hurricane have this turn to avoid dying next? So
Yep. And I'm looking at my hand. I'm very nervous because after that searing wave, I'm dangerously close to letting Mykee's Pliers get to the top 4 of the season 3 Channel Earth Power Bracket tournament, and that is just a terrifying prospect.
God knows you don't want to be the reason it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played the deck all tournament, right? I didn't play it in any of the play-in matches or the main
Oh,
bracket. Like, how
your
many times
hand
can
is
I lose to
great.
this? I
Your
couldn't see
hand
it.
is
I
great,
was,
Deal. So there's a miraculous snare and a pala in your hand. I'm assuming
oh,
you're thinking you also have a terror pit. So you end up terror pitting instead of the pala snare, which I guess I can get behind.
I don't know if I have other
Uh,
mana. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Light mana.
oh yeah, if you didn't, I didn't. You might have had Mysterios in your hand, and maybe
Oh, I might
that's
have been trying to keep that. There's a Petrova, but I don't know if that was their
yeah.
last turn. There's a good snare target still. Snare and Skeeto works.
Yep. So you play Skeeto instead of pala just in case I have a creature. That way, Pig has to bounce with something, and I'm basically just playing the hope you don't have a blocker. And here they come.
Yep, we got the
So
Mysterios. Yeah, I think the big debate a couple turns ago was whether to conserve the Mysterios, and I realized that after trading a bunch of 1-for-1 blockers, I didn't want to be top decking. So now I can
yeah,
actually start doing the thing that I need to do is like be proactively searching my deck to go wide and play Hydro
yep,
before the board gets too problematic.
exactly. And yeah, the only thing you had to beat there was me decking a Gallop, which it seems I didn't do, is uh, since I haven't slammed it onto the board.
Wouldn't that be funny if you just did and you're just slow rolling it? Oh, no, it's a shroom.
That's a shroom. Yeah. So the debate there was either play it in mana, get myself to 6. So if I top deck Terror Pit or Rebirth, I have an answer for things on board. And yeah, unfortunately, this Mysterios just gets you right back into the game, and you find all of the blockers you were missing. So
Yep.
yeah, double Cavern Raider. The top decks are not going well for Mikeys, and I am very, very fastly, very quickly falling behind.
Yep. Now I think all that Hydra really needs to do is play maybe 1 or 2 darkness creatures would be kind of nice, or just play a Holiaw. That works as well, as a matter of fact. And
Yeah,
with the Hydro, you can only play 1 creature this turn, and I'm probably just gonna consider playing 1 more blocker, bouncing all the mana, and I literally mean all the mana, and then starting to attack with my Soul Gala and Mysterios, set up a 3-turn kill, something like that maybe.
I like when you start to get like ahead, and you're basically when you start to essentially play solitaire with the decks you run, your mana just goes nuts.
Yeah, I'm trying not to waste a whole lot of time with, aesthetically pleasing taps, but sometimes it's rough. If I
The
pass another
deck and the
turn,
graveyard
that's
just
funny.
continue to move. Yeah, so yeah, this game is about as close to over. We'll see if I can snipe the Hydro.
Oh my
Sure
god,
do.
again. I probably have 2 by now. Unless one's in mana, it's impossible to tell. No, there's not.
No, it's not mana, but I don't think it's in your hand either. Unless it was that second card from the right there, but
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there's a Hydro in there.
okay, yeah, it's in. All right, good. We're good. We're good. We're good. That is funny though.
Probably just mad I don't have a darkness card. But
Yeah,
here's all the mana that you could ever ask for back in your hand.
Gonna go ahead and break the shield creatures you put down.
Yeah.
Swing with the things that can swing.
It's not a
Uh,
2-turn kill, but you also have 0 mana, so
yeah, it is a I'm dead in a few turns whenever we get around to it.
mhm.
It's what we're gonna call that one. And yeah, Lightwater Dark Hydro Hurricane, man. Uh climbs the mountain that is Dark Fire Nature, Mykee's Pliers. And obviously we're still playing it out, but we're gonna go ahead and calls it as we sees it. Um,
Locomotive.
don't really have a way to win here.
Yeah, there's
So
nothing.
yeah, I'm gonna get to play all of a 2-drop, maybe 2 1-drops this turn. Um, or just do the old poisonous mushroom, play a 1-drop. Break the last shield just if I want to, and
Yeah, I
if you'll
just
let
let
it
it
through,
through.
and that's the whole game. Yeah. So Lightwater Dark, Hydro Hurricane, on to top 4. You gotta think that's just right. So finally, without an upset, 5 Lightwater Alzonia, we finally have what doesn't feel like an upset. Lightwater Dark Hurricane beating Mykee's Pliers 2-1.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for Hydro Hurricane. Well, just like 2 bracket tournaments, really. But I remember
Yeah.
it lost game 1, I think, against Pincer Scarab too, in top 8, or sorry, in
Yeah.
top 16. So like it dropped both game 1s so far. And we were worried that Hydro Hurricane would be eliminated early again, but I think it deserved to make top 4 in one of these bracket tournaments, and I'm glad it finally showed up and did the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And up against what is the dark horse of control decks, and up in first top 4, been seeded 5 Civ Control versus Lightwater Dark Hydro Hurricane. Coming up in the next few days, Fire Nature Rush versus Water Dark Aggro, the aggro match to end all aggro matches. Let us know in the comments below who you think's going to win that one. And guys, until next time.
Each.